my crafty friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I welcome all my new watchers, and I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel. I will leave if you're interested in some of my additional content, I'm going to leave it in the last slide in this video, just in case you're wanting to check out any of my other videos. I have a slew of different playlists, everything from making base pages, making kits, organization. But anyway, today we are working with sketch number 5 from the Best of 30 Days of Sketches by Christy's Beautiful Life. I am joined by some incredibly talented folks over in Christy's group. She has a Facebook group, and there is an entire playlist for everyone who is playing along. I will have that in the description box for you guys. Today's sketch is designed by Susan Stringfellow, and she's from Sketch Savvy. So I'm gonna have the sketch for you on the screen, but essentially it calls for how do I describe it? So it looks like strips of paper. You can get pattern paper with like different overlapping or segmented kind of strips of paper, or that look like strips of paper. I don't think I have anything like that in my stash, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create it on my own with just some scraps. I've cut out, you'll see I have some different colors here. I have 3 different patterns. However, I have a total of 5 different patterns. I'm going to show you something a little different because I'm really bad at angles. So let's just put that out there. I needed to figure out, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I needed to figure out a way to be able to replicate the, I don't know if you would call the shape a chevron, but essentially you're going to have strips of paper coming from the bottom and the top. Obviously you could tilt the layout. The sketch calls for 3 photos. I only have 2, which is fine for me. So you can switch around the orientation, but the sketch itself has it coming from the top and the bottom, and the photos being here. So so this is how far I've gotten. I did decide to use this as my base, oh goodness, my background. Oh, good words, right? They're really hard. So I did decide to measure out the middle so that I would have 6 inches right in the middle, and then I just drew myself a line so that I can easily line up the center of my pattern pieces of paper together, right? So then I started to think about like, okay, so then like I have to cut it at such and such an angle, and I'm really bad at that part, right? I probably could have used some tool or whatever, but I decided to just not do that. I decided to do it a little bit easier. So I'm going to pull the couple of other pieces of paper, or strips, I should say. They have a little bit of adhesive here, some ATGs. I'm just taking those off. So this is essentially 2 strips. I didn't worry too much about the length of them. I was more concerned about the consistent width. So they're 1/2 inch wide, and I just adhered them right where they intersect. It's like basically a little square. So here's what I've done with this pattern paper, which I love this pattern paper. I made some kits with this particular one. So I made sure that I cut 4 because you're making this I'll call it a triangle for lack of a better word. I'm just seeing some adhesive here. I'm just gonna pull, I think it's adhesive. Yeah. So you have to cut out 4 because you're gonna need 2 for here and 2 for there. Again, if you're really careful or wanting to preserve your paper, then, you know, just kind of take a look and see. Maybe you only want to cut out, you know, 2, and then if they're full length, you could just use the scraps to do the top. I could care less about that stuff. So I just cut them in strips. So here is, you see, I think it's going to work this way. You're going to see the overlap, but I don't care. I don't care about that. Okay, so I haven't done the rest of them, but just play along, okay? Pretend these are different. These are different pattern papers. So you'll see, this is, I think it's 100% going to work. If you have a problem with the overlap, it's definitely more noticeable on the single color cardstock. So stick to only pattern papers if it bothers you. But it's almost like you're making like a quilt, if you will. I don't know nothing about sewing, but that's what it feels like. It has that feel to it. So I'm going to take these 2. These will be placed up here somewhere, something like that. And so what I wanted to try to do is to kind of center the points here with the center, right? Does that make sense? And so I don't know if I'm going to use all of these strips of paper, but I thought I wanted to give myself a little bit of a selection. I might use this neutral here in the center, and then maybe this one, and then maybe this other one down here. And then I can play around. Obviously, I'm going to do all of the piecing together first, and then I'm going to see how it looks once it's kind of flushed down to the bottom, because I really don't want to have to cover this part necessarily. So let's see what we create. Oh, before I forget, here are the 2 photos I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use these 2. So if it goes according to the sketch, the photos, goodness, the photos will be roughly somewhere around here, something like that. They have a tag here, and then the title will go here. So I think I'm probably going to end up needing to back this as well. So I may trim down my cardstock now before all of these different layers get adhered. So that's also good to know. But yeah, I'll come back with the finished layout and kind of just walk you through what I did. All right, I'll be back. Hey guys, so here I have the finished layout. So let me just walk you through kind of what I did. I believe I left off showing you guys how I did these, basically like just piecing it together, right? I don't care that I can see some of the overlap. If that bothers you, I don't know, maybe there's a different way to do it. I think that once this is in the page protector, it's going to look fine. You're not going to be able to see that there's a little bit of it's a slightly raised in the seam here. And again, if that is an issue that bothers you, try just using pattern paper, no cardstock, because it's a little bit more visible on either the tone-on-tones and the regular cardstock. So just be warned. So I went ahead, created both of those on either side of the page, just like the sketch called. And then I added a piece of paper here, as the sketch calls. I did end up backing it on on another piece of cardstock to make the layout pop a little bit more. And I went ahead and I gutted the background paper here that it's framed on, and I also used it here in the second mat for the photo. I use this pattern paper which is different than any of the ones that are in the actual layout, to also frame the two pictures that I am using for this particular layout. I pulled just 2 die cuts. One of them is a tag that I've already put twine on, and this other tag that I had in my stash, not as part of this kit or anything. And then I pulled from an old thickers called, this is all I have left of it. It's called Wildflower. It's gold foil stickers on chipboard, and they're foiled. So this is, what year is this? 2015. So this is quite old, and that's how I did the title. I think I said I put the twine on the tag, and then I had this left over from the bottom of this tag, so I went ahead and just fishtailed it and adhered it here. And I went ahead, I wanted the layout to be super simple because it has a lot of stuff going on. The focal point, obviously, I love that this design brings your eyes to the center. And then the last bit that I did was that I went ahead and I included these are heart punch outs from another foil paper. So I always keep the punch outs of the gold in a little baggie in my color bin. So I had those ready to go. And I think pretty much that's gonna do it for me. I don't think I'm gonna add anything else. If you guys have been following me and my channel, you know that I've done a whole bunch of different photos for my daughter's album, for our family album. So this will go in one or the other. Now I can't keep track because I have a whole situation going on in my craft firm. I won't get into it. If you are a subscriber, you know that I've been kind of going through some trials and tribulations in organizing my new space. So if you're interested in any of that, I will go ahead and link the playlist to kind of bring you up to speed. But it was a little bit of extra work doing these, but I do love how it came out. So I'm so glad. I was really tempted to skip over this one, but nevertheless, I'm so glad that I didn't and that I gave it a try anyway. I did have some remaining scraps. So I might redo this for a whole nother layout. A whole nother subject, like just everything. These two photos are the last in basically her prom photo shoot. So this is it. No more prom photos. So I did make it. I did make it right before she starts college, you guys. But I hope you've enjoyed seeing my creation, and I sure hope that you challenge yourself. Listen, you saw me, how I walked you guys through creating these strips. If you don't have a piece of paper that mimics this same design, I highly encourage you. You can do it. I hope you will give it a try and that this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Until next time, see you soon.